Dear teacher, receive my warmest greeting. I am the student Keila Gomero, and today I am going to present academic product number 4 that contains the following problem: the negative effects of globalization of the environment. Well, introduction. Globalization based on capital generates a large number of negative effects on the environment. This is due to different factors, among which in the fact that international markets constantly generate a large-scale increase in energy resources. As a consequence, the emission of polluting substances increases, which in turn produces climate change and global warming. This represents a threat to human development and affects all inhabitants of all countries. Well, development. Global economic growth and industrial productivity are both the driving force and the main consequence of globalization. The global distribution of goods is also creating a garbage problem, especially when it comes to plastic pollution. According to my point of view, globalization has several negative effects on the environment, which can be grouped into the following aspects. First, depletion of the ozone layer. Globalization has led to an increase in the emission of greenhouse gases, which has contributed to the depletion of the ozone layer and climate change. Increases in greenhouse effects. The emission of greenhouse gases has increased due to the economic growth and industrialization, which has contributed to global warming and climate change. Death of fish and other marine life. Air pollution and climate change have led to that of numerous marine species, which can have negative consequences on marine ecosystems and the food chain. Well, forest destruction. Economic expansion and demand for natural resources have led to the destruction of large areas of forests, which can contribute to climate change and biodiversity loss. Deterioration of ecosystems. Globalization has contributed to the deterioration of numerous ecosystems, which can have negative consequences for biodiversity and the ability of ecosystems to support life. Loss of biodiversity. Globalization has led to a significant loss of biodiversity, which can have negative consequences for secure food, traditional medicine, and the stability of ecosystems. Well, contribution to the problem. I believe that it's important measure we can minimize the harmful effects of globalization on the environment, and that environmental education and the adoption of sustainable practices be promoted to protect the planet and guarantee a healthy future for all. Well, environmental education is consists designing activities and tasks to raise awareness among the population about the effects that their action has on the environment and what they can to reduce these impacts. Environmental education is very important, especially for young people or even children. Promote sustainable transportation. The carbon footprint of globalization can be reduced by encouraging the use of public transport, cycling or walking instead of using private vehicles. Promote fair and sustainable trade. The carbon footprint of globalization can be reduced by promoting fair and sustainable trade, which promotes responsible and sustainable business practices. Promote the circular economy. The circular economy is based on the reduction, reuse and recycling of materials and resources, which can help reduce the carbon footprint of globalization. Regulation of the economy and environmental standards. Implement strict environmental policies and standards to regulate the activities of multinational companies and promote environmental protection. Well, in conclusion, globalization has had a significant impact on the environment, generates a series of negative effects that affects the health of the planet and people. Among these effects are climate change, the destruction of the ozone layer, air and water pollution, desertification, loss of biodiversity, and degradation of natural resources ecosystems, it is necessary to take measures to minimize the harmful effects of globalization on the environment and promote sustainable development. And thank you for your attention.